The CFTC approves crypto to be used in derivatives trading. This is huge. Ripple scores a massive license in Singapore to use XRP and RLUSD. And JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon is on TV today promoting crypto, blockchain, tokenization, and stablecoins. You have to see the video. Let's get into it. Hey folks, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, huge news coming out of the CFTC today. So the headline is the CFTC clears path for ETH, Bitcoin, and USDC stablecoin to be used as collateral in the derivatives markets. So Caroline Pham, the acting chair, has been doing an amazing job. She's kind of the lone person there when it comes to the commissioners, but she's been getting a lot done. They have the crypto sprint, and they've been working alongside the SEC as well. Here's what Caroline Pham tweeted out on X. I'm launching a digital assets pilot program for Bitcoin, ETH, and USDC that will protect Americans under the US rules when you use CFTC brokers to keep your crypto safe. Our new guidance will enable tokenized markets, and we're cutting red tape that is outdated. Onwards, she said. The guidance provides regulatory clarity and opens the door for more digital assets to be added as collateral by exchanges and brokers, in addition to U.S. treasuries and money market funds. And she shared some different quotes from folks like Coinbase, Circle, Crypto.com, Ripple, and much more. This is incredible. Here's what Paul Grewal, Chief Legal Officer at Coinbase, said. Today's no action relief from the CFTC unlocks the use of digital assets as collateral in the derivatives markets. Staff Advisory 20-34 was a concrete ceiling for innovation. It relied on outdated info, went well beyond the bounds of regulation, and frustrated the goals of the PWG. Thank you, Acting Chair Caroline Pham, for your vision and leadership. Folks, we are seeing the infrastructure being set up here by TradFi regulators and crypto native firms to allow crypto to be used in different ways. We're seeing the financialization of this asset class, different products being created, new rules, and much more. All of that will lead to more liquidity, the maturation and growth of the asset class, and higher price valuations. But of course, as always, you got to be patient. You got to have the macro view. These things are still being built out here. Now, folks, we got big news around Ripple. They scored an expanded license in Singapore. So they had an existing license, but this expands it. So I'll give you the details here. So the key takeaways are the Monetary Authority of Singapore has expanded Ripple's MPI license, allowing the company to offer a much wider range of regulated payment services and marking a notable regulatory milestone for the company's operations in Singapore. Ripple first secured a full MPI license in 2023, enabling digital payment token services but limiting comprehensive end-to-end payment capabilities under the restrictions were removed. Ripple first secured a full MPI license in 2023, enabling digital payment token services but limiting comprehensive end-to-end payment capabilities until the restrictions were removed in the 2025 expansion. The upgraded license now permits full cross-border payment processing, regulated XRP and RLUSD services, liquidity solutions, on and off ramps, and enterprise-grade settlement tools under Singapore's strict oversight. The expanded license positions Ripple to meet the rising institutional demand across Asia Pacific, compete in major remittance corridors, offer XRP and RLUSD-based services, and strengthen relationships with the regional regulators. Huge win here for Ripple, folks, and you can see clearly they are going to be using XRP and their stablecoin RLUSD in different ways, depending on the need of the client they're working with. So you want to have the licenses, and now the shackles are off, so to speak, and they can do a lot more. So very bullish news. Here's what Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse tweeted out today. He says, in less than 4 weeks, and now XRP is the fastest crypto spot ETF to reach $1 billion in AUM since ETH in the United States. With over 40 crypto ETFs launched this year in the US alone, a few points are obvious to me. One, there is pent-up demand for regulated crypto products, and with Vanguard opening up access in traditional retirement slash trading accounts for Americans, crypto is now accessible to millions more people who don't need to be experts in the technology. Number two, longevity, stability, and community are all underrated themes that matter to this set of new off-chain crypto holders. So he's absolutely right. And as he highlighted, the XRP ETF has been the fastest to 1 billion. It beat Solana's ETF launch. So there's clearly demand for XRP, and this is very bullish if you hold XRP. Now, it's also very important to be diversified. I personally hold Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, Solana, and some others. Obviously, you don't want to spread yourself too thin, but I'm betting on these top horses, so to speak. And many of you may recall Ripple raised $500 million recently with a $40 billion valuation. We could potentially see Ripple go public in 2026. As we're seeing that is being set as the year of the IPOs. And I keep bringing it up to you guys. Who the hell IPOs in a bear market? To some people, we are entering into a bear market. In a bear market, there is less liquidity. Liquidity is drying up. You don't get the same valuations, the higher valuations that you do in a bull market. So why is the SEC chair, the stock exchanges, and these companies like Grayscale, Kraken, and others, why is SpaceX targeting a 2026 IPO? And there's talks about OpenAI doing that as well. Something's not adding up here, right? So in order to navigate the markets, you can't just look at charts. You got to look at the macro, and you got to look at the on-chain data. Those three things combined help you to get a 360 view of the market. So look, we'll have to wait and see, but I'm just seeing macro and market factors here not aligning with a bear market narrative. So we'll have to wait and see. Folks, this episode is brought to you by iTrust Capital, which is a great platform that gives you an awesome alternative to invest and custody your crypto assets. So iTrust Capital allows you to invest via an IRA, a self-directed IRA. And if you have an existing 401k or IRA, you can roll it over to iTrust Capital, and it allows you to invest in 80 plus crypto assets, trade 24/7, and there's low costs and no monthly fee. You can also trade gold and silver. So we've been seeing the performance of gold and silver. So you have the opportunity to do it here through iTrust Capital. And of course, there's huge tax benefits, right? That's one of the key value propositions here is the tax benefits, because you all know when you buy and sell, you're entering a taxable event. But if you do that through an IRA, very different, right? So if you have a long-term view on crypto, this is a great option. Now, you may say, well, what about the custody aspect? Well, guys, they have what's called a premium custody account. And this premium custody account uses institutional grade crypto custody. So we're not talking about iTrust Capital holding it in their accounts, but rather they're using Coinbase Prime, Fireblocks, Fidelity. So they're using institutional bank tiered custodial services. So you can trust it, right? And this is what the institutions like BlackRock use, right? And the other folks. So you're getting top of the level institutional custody that is backed by insurance and all those things. And it's not going to be something that's easily hackable, right? So that's the point. And they have a closed loop system. So even if someone got into your account, they can't withdraw. It's not possible. It's for them to withdraw the assets. So this is where this premium custody account, I believe, is second to self-custody. So I believe in self-custody, many of you know, I hold a lot of my assets on hardware wallets, but this is also a great solution where you can sleep at night and know that your assets are protected. So again, institutional custody, closed loop system, you can buy and sell 24/7. It has low fees. And this is what the institutions are using, this level of custody. So be sure to check out iTrust Capital, folks. And if you use my link, you can get a $100 funding bonus. So check them out. I have an account with them. Great option, once again, to invest in crypto to get tax benefits and to safely custody your assets. Check out the link in the description to learn more. Now, folks, our favorite banker I'm joking. Jamie Dimon was on Fox today, and he's, of course, the CEO of JP Morgan, for those of you who don't know. And he has been a longtime detractor, skeptic, critic of crypto, but now he's bending the knee. JP Morgan is tokenizing, launching crypto services, and much more, right? So crypto has won. As the saying goes, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win. Let me play the clip of what he had to say today.
We moved $16 trillion the other day. In one day, $16 trillion. It goes through our AML systems, our risk systems, sanction systems, fraud systems, OFAC systems. It's cheap, it's fast. So we've always been using technology to do a better job for the client. And we're going to do the same thing in tokenization. So tokenization, blockchain is real. It's been around for quite a while, but now it's becoming more effective, more efficient, because people are finding ways to do it faster and cheaper, permissioned or not permissioned. Smart contracts, I think, will probably be real. We're working on stable coin and a JP Morgan. We have a JP Morgan deposit already. And think of it as a token, which is a deposit. We can pay interest on it. And as a payment system and a network, we're involved. If we can use things like that to do something better, faster, cheaper for clients, we're going to.
Wow, folks. Isn't that amazing to hear Jamie Dimon say those things and talking about they're moving trillions of dollars with this system and all that? And this is why you watch what they do, not what they say. Now, we know that JP Morgan's actually doing these things because we've seen the reports and the tests with different blockchains like Ondo and others, right? So yes, you could say, well, Jamie just saying that. Well, no, but we verify that he has done this. And we've seen the announcements and the patents and the filings. They are doing all these things. So crypto is one, folks, and he has to bend the knee here. Not him, but all the banks and many of them who are fighting crypto. And look, some of them are still trying to fight, like Citadel, right? Are trying to attack DeFi. There's talks about JP Morgan debanking certain people. I think it was Jack Mallers recently that got debanked. But again, crypto has won, even if they continue to put up a fight. They will love to stop some of the DeFi aspect of the market because they want to control everything. They will love to still knock out some of these crypto native firms, but that's not going to happen, I believe, because market structure is coming. And under this administration, we have a pro-crypto, crypto-friendly environment. So there's nobody to lobby here like Elizabeth Warren or Gary Gensler to do anything. And speaking of banks, look at this news. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Citigroup CEOs are set to meet with senators Thursday to discuss crypto market legislation per Bloomberg. So we don't have more details about this. We'll have to wait and see. But, are they meeting to try to push the market structure bill through or to make major changes? Because what we've been also hearing is that these banks don't like that you can earn high yield on stable coins or staking on exchanges like Uphold or Coinbase. They don't like that because we've talked a lot about it. The money you have in your savings account, they're giving you next to nothing, right, on interest. I don't have to tell you guys that. I'm sure many of you have experienced it while they're pocketing a lot of that interest, right? So they don't like it, but the crypto market, or I should say the crypto industry, is fighting back. So let's see what this is about. You got to watch these guys closely. They've been at this game for a long time. They know how to lobby. They know how to get things done. They've got a lot of money. But look, disruptions here, and a lot of them are capitulating. And there may be one or two things they don't like that you're doing with crypto that they want to stop. So we have to keep fighting. And look at this, folks. The SEC has closed their probe against Ondo Finance. Now, many of you know I hold the Ondo token in my portfolio, and this is a Biden-era crypto crackdown. So this investigation didn't start under this SEC under Paul Atkins, but rather under Gensler. And we know the SEC is wrapping a lot of these things up, right? We've seen a lot of cases and Ripple and others. So it was just a matter of time. And it's great to see this is coming to an end. It's very good for Ondo and what they're doing with tokenization and for the token holders. So very, very big. Many of you may have caught my interview with Nathan Allman, the founder and CEO of Ondo Finance. I interviewed him at Chainlink SmartCon. So if you haven't seen that interview, check it out. But they're doing some great things, working with many of the big banks to tokenize and much more. Now, folks, look at this. BlackRock files for listing staked Ether ETF. I am waiting for them to file for their XRP and Solana ETF. I think that's down the road, but BlackRock continues to build and invest, and I hope you guys see what's happening here. So In a Friday filing with the SEC, BlackRock filed a Form S-1 registration statement for its iShares staked Ethereum Trust exchange traded fund. The filing is part of the SEC's process for companies to list investment vehicles such as ETFs, but does not guarantee an approval. I think we all know it's going to get approved, right? There's other staking ETFs that got approved already in the market, but many times if BlackRock wants something, they're going to get it. Okay, moving ahead, Argentina weighs letting traditional banks trade crypto. Let me give you the answer right away. If they're weighing yes or no, it's going to be yes. Right? Folks, we're seeing across the globe all of these folks are jumping in and they're going to put out their reports. We're thinking about it and yada, yada. They're going to do it. I've often stated that any country that bans crypto is writing their economic death sentence. So Argentina is considering allowing local financial institutions to engage more directly with cryptocurrencies in a move that would mark a significant shift from its restrictive stance, according to a local media report. According to a Friday report by local news outlet La Nación, Banco Central de la República Argentina, Argentina's central bank, is considering allowing traditional banks to trade cryptocurrencies. The story cited sources close to the organization. So, folks, we know it's coming. All the banks, yesterday we talked about one of the banks in France that is opening up crypto trading on the app. So these are all major on-ramps being built across the globe that will bring more liquidity into the market, drive prices higher. So I've often stated we are still relatively early to other asset classes. So it's still a great opportunity to buy the blood in the streets, buy the dips, don't buy pumps, right? Hold and be patient because the infrastructure is being built here, which is really incredible. Now we got a bunch of crypto exchange news. So Circle and ByBit deepen USDC partnership as stablecoin nears $80 billion. So Circle, the publicly listed issuer of one of the biggest US dollar stablecoins globally, has entered into a strategic partnership with cryptocurrency exchange ByBit. ByBit entered a partnership with an affiliate of Circle to expand liquidity and usability of its USDC stablecoin, according to a joint announcement on Monday. Here's a quote: "The partnership aims to expand USDC access across ByBit's global ecosystem, strengthening liquidity of the world's largest regulated stablecoin, and reinforce ByBit's position as a regulatory compliant platform committed to transparency and trust." So once again, the expansion, the mergers and acquisitions, the investments, it is happening at a rapid pace, folks. We're seeing exchanges, stablecoin issuers, wallet services, and much more building bridges, building on-ramps across the globe. So this is really great to see. Everybody knows what's coming: crypto market structure, mass adoption of crypto assets. So everybody's trying to grab as much of the market share as possible. Here's another example. Coinbase mounts a cautious comeback in India 2 years after exit. So India has been very bipolar when it comes to crypto, right? One day it's like China banning it, and then 2 months later unbanning it. It's just a mess. But here are the details. Coinbase has resumed app registrations in India as it prepares to roll out local fiat on-ramps in 2026. Coinbase APAC Director John Laughlin, if I'm saying that right, announced at India Blockchain Week, according to a Sunday report by TechCrunch. And here's another example. Robinhood is set to enter Indonesia, targeting 17 million crypto traders. Many of you may have caught my interview with Robinhood's CEO, Vlad Tenev, and they've got big plans for crypto, folks. And I've often stated they've got the money, the resources, a great team, and they've got the customer base to really, really make a dent in the crypto market, because for years they've had a huge set of customers trading stocks and other equities. So it's easy to just port them over to crypto and just diversify their portfolio accordingly. So this is a big strategic move here by Robinhood. So in an announcement on Sunday, Robinhood said it had entered into agreements to acquire Buana Capital, an Indonesian brokerage, and PT Pedagang Asset Crypto, some name there, a licensed Indonesian digital financial asset trader, marking our entry into one of Southeast Asia's fastest growing markets. It is said that Indonesia has more than 19 million capital markets investors and 17 million crypto investors, making it a compelling market for equities and crypto trading. So Exciting times, folks. Lots of building, lots of expansion. I think 2026 is looking like it could be a bullish year. Obviously, that's not a guarantee, right? We're talking probabilities here because no one has a crystal ball, but there's a lot of building and setting up for what looks like a massive blow up top coming in 2026. Again, you may not agree with me, but I hope you appreciate the facts I'm sharing about the macro, some of the charts, and some of the on chain data. Now, yes, there are bearish signals on the charts. I'm not ignoring that. And if you saw my interview on Cheddar News that I did last week at the New York Stock Exchange, I talked about that, right? There is some uncertainty here, and we're going to have to wait and see how the market plays out. But one thing's for sure, guys, on the macro, we know this asset class is going to continue to grow. What do you think is going to happen when that market structure bill passes? That's going to unlock tons of liquidity to come into the market, tons of innovation. We are going to see crypto explode like never before. Right now, what we're seeing is this just the tip of the iceberg. Some of these banks and these folks launching small things, tokenizing, but they're not at the point of where they're going to push it to the masses yet because they need that clarity, right? They don't want to get in trouble. They don't want to get a lawsuit and all that stuff. So patience is the key here. And I hope you see where we're at in the timeline and what's on the horizon. Folks, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't as yet. Be sure to support the podcast by subscribing to my free email newsletter. It is 100% free. Check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. And my course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you everything you need to know about crypto. Folks, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.